Hi there guys, this is Cassandra. I'm a Riffle in Time and I'm so glad you're here. Today, as promised, we are doing the 5 Oracle deck challenge. I did a book tag adapted over as a tarot tag and did the 5 tarot deck challenge last week, and I also wanted to have a space for people who are Oracle readers or just love Oracle decks, or people like me who love all of them and just want to show you more. So we are going to have 5 prompts today. I will read those to you and then I'll give you my choices for them. And I would love to see yours if you do the tarot one, the Oracle one, or if you want to do a combination of the two. Just use the tags so everybody can follow along and watch. I really love to find a tag and then start watching everyone's videos, because I actually have found a lot of decks that I've loved that way. So without further ado, I'm going to read off the 5 prompts. So 1, show us the Oracle deck you're currently using. 2, show us your last 5-star Oracle deck. 3, show us an Oracle deck that you keep putting off using. 4, show us an Oracle deck you feel is very underrated on. This would be TarotTube or YouTube in general. And then show an Oracle deck you think everyone should have. So this will be really fun today because I have some really good options here, and we will chat about each of the decks and I will show you a little peeky of them. As always, if there are any of these decks that you want to see closer up, I can do full videos on anything. And also don't forget, there's a whole poll going on the community page about what videos you want to see more of. I would love to do more of what you want to see more of. So first on the list was show us an Oracle deck you're currently using. And I'm always trying to find an excuse to use the Death Duel Oracle more. I love this deck and I feel like this could pretty much always live on the #1 answer here. This was a deck that when I first saw it, I was like, oh wow, I want that. And I didn't order it for the shop immediately because I wanted to see what did the Death Duel Oracle encompass? What were the kind of ideas that we're going to be with it? We have Angel of Incidents, we have growth, sensuality, art. So as you see already, there is more than just the idea for me. At first I'm like, is this all about death? But it's about life and death, and it has a really beautiful way of taking, we have conjure here, a really cool set of keywords and making them work together really well. I love the kind of photography edit vibe of this. It's photography, but obviously there has been a real intentionality with these photos taken, and I really think this deck goes so well with so many decks. I love to pair it. And one of my favorite things is that though it is a small, and I dropped it, but though it is just a booklet, this little guidebook or guide booklet is really, really nice. So it keeps it pretty short and sweet for most of the responses, but there's a lot here. So you have different card spreads, you have the cards, but more importantly, what I really love about it is on most of the meanings, there is a see this. So see awareness of thought, page 18, see affirmations, page 17. There's a whole half of this booklet that are rituals, practices, meditations, and I really love that. Actually, let's pull a card real quick. Let's just grab a card. What do we... Ooh, the Void. I love this. I think this is a really beautiful card. So the Void, let's find it in the guidebook, which will be under the V's. Okay. Meditative tipping points, transcending, letting one's identity slip so far beyond their mind that they find it again but whole. If this card is pulled, it may indicate one's ego is obstructing their view. There are many ways to achieve a meditative state in which separation of personality and self are achievable, and anyone can do this. This card invites the reader to carry states of meditation into their active day. In other words, take the approaches you use during meditation, to achieve your deepest state of calm or state of awareness, and implement your personal techniques into your everyday activities. Who are you when your perception of yourself is not being noted? Ooh, I like that. And then, so C, formlessness meditation on page 26. So we go into the practice area, page 26. And, oh, I'm not going to read all that because it is a full page, but a full meditation like walkthrough. I love that so much. So not only like do I find the meanings really powerful and helpful, I find that also having something actionable to do after is so cool. And packed in such a like small bite, sometimes a guidebook can feel really overwhelming and be too much of like, I don't have time to do kind of all these things right now, but that is all bite-sized. That is, I love it. I love it. So this might hold a couple different places because I also think that it's pretty underrated. I don't see a lot of people use it. And I also think everyone could have it and should have it. So that's like a 3-for-1. Next up is, let me say how, show us your last 5-star. And that is going to be my Thistle Down. This was the latest Oracle deck I got, and it just knocks my socks off. I mean, just look at the box. If you don't know, this is the Oracle kind of like companion deck to Smoke Ash Embers Oak Ash Thorn. It has the little meaning cards, and then we have this sweet little deck. I love how this deck has its like kind of own animals, but also you will see some familiar faces as well. I love how they like made it so that it has something new that the others don't have, but like you'll see the dragons and the woodland creatures like poke back up from the other decks. It obviously is a perfect pairing for those tarot decks, which are 2 of like my favorite tarot decks. But also like it's such a beautiful Oracle deck. And it's already not fair because Adam is one of my favorite artists and illustrators. So I was, this is bound to be a 5-star for me. And then like the concepts are so great. I love that there are some overlap of like keywords that you'll find in a lot of Oracle decks, but there's also a lot of like ones that surprised me. And grief being this like tortoise with kind of like the growth on its back, carrying the weight of grief. It's just, I love that card. And there's also a little jumping spider who is Curiosity, I believe. I think is its title. I want to find it now so bad. Oh, there he is. Look how cute he is. Obviously, this was a smash out of the park for me. And I really love Three Trees Tarot of Stephanie. I love all things those decks. So the next prompt here is show us a deck you keep putting off using. And this one was a hard one because I was like, what deck do I put off using? Like really thinking about that term of putting it off. It was a little easier with tarot because like the Thoth is something like I've wanted to learn and I've wanted to use, but I've been putting it off for like a deep dive. But I realized there is an Oracle deck that I do that with, and it's Wisdom of the Divine Feminine. For whatever reason, I think I have it in my head that I can only use this deck when I want to work with like my feminine energy and like femininity. And that is not a lot. So I've actually put it in quite the box. One of the things I really loved about this deck is that, one, it had a lot of these like abstracty, colorful. Now there are some like bodies in it, but a lot of it is more like flowing. But I think I was really attracted to the like idea of like the color and flow of it. But I found that there's something that does this more particularly the way I wanted it. So like I was initially drawn into like the swirls and like the different colors, especially like the backs here. And I think one of the reasons I don't pull for this unless I'm doing Divine Feminine energy is because there's something that does that kind of vibe I wanted better. If you've not seen the Devas of Creation, it is all of that kind of like really swirling of colors. It feels more like auras and energy than it does like physical things. It's really hard to kind of explain, but I think this feels more like body-like and less like just energy and nature and feeling. And this makes me feel more like grounded in that body feeling. But what I need to say here as well is that I have done that in myself. Like I've really separated this into the space I've put it in. And I think that there's an availability for me to use this more than I do. And I really have loved the kind of like nature energy it has as well. And this guidebook is really beautiful. And this is something I think if I actually started using it, I might be able to really find the difference in between like what I'm putting it as and what it actually is. I also think this is a really great deck to pair with. There's a Wisdom of the Divine, not Divine Feminine, the Wisdom of the Shadow and the Wisdom of the Divine Feminine, and they could go together as like a monster deck. I lent out my copy of Shadow, and I think that's another reason I haven't been using it so much, because I used to use them together. So maybe I need to get it back. Next up, let's look here. Show us a deck you feel is very underrated. And this Oracle deck is the Love Oracle of Eden. And it's another deck I just don't feel like I see enough of. It is probably one of like the most like luxurious decks I've seen. I mean, it's just really so much time and attention and effort was put into like the actual creation of its physical body. Like it has it has a hardback booklet. The pages are like that glossy, almost like magazine-like paper. And we have full photo like images in there, like full color. And then these cards. The edges are to die for. They're like that perfect, like, is that burgundy? Wine? It's that like that purpley browny red that I love. And then this deck is so good. It's a photography deck, which I love photography decks, but it feels like every photo is so intentional. And like, I feel like every part of it, I'm like looking at for like the clues, the symbols. Like, what have I missed the first time I look at it? Like, because I feel like even the lighting, like the colors in the background, it feels like all such a part of it, like the flowing. It's so beautiful. And this also has some overlap in like card, like our kind of like keywords, or what word did I use for that earlier? I don't remember. But it also has like so many I haven't thought of, and I feel like they all like feel so good together. And like there are some like that feel like two sides of like the same coin too, where it's like, I just love it. I love this deck. I love it so much. And last, is it put? Show a deck you think that everyone should have. So this should be no surprise. The Oracle deck I think everyone should have is the Energy Archaeology Oracle. Now I will say that it soon will not be called the Energy Archaeology Oracle. It'll be part of the Energy Archaeology Oracles, and this will be the Bone deck. There is going to be a second deck made by Ashley, who is, I think, planning on it to be out next year at some point. So this deck is amazing. Not only do I really love the deck itself, I don't have any other deck that I'm really working with like the bone energy anyways. So this is my bone deck, but also I love it feels like there's like a lot of grounded nature, but there's also like, it feels like otherworldly. It feels like there's space and time and earth and air and water. And it just really feels like, I think this one's so cool. It's like the owl with like the orbital bone, I think. Yep. But I think this deck is already just like at face level, really beautiful. I think it has a lot of great keywords. Keywords is I think the word I used earlier, but a lot of them are very different. Like I love the teeth being wisdom. Come on. But what really sets it over the top is this guidebook, because what Ashley is really amazing at is like the information that's in here. And there's so much in here. I really do need to do just a dedicated video where we look through this guidebook and like look at every single card. One of the things I always shout out is I love this skeletal index, because it allows me to use this deck in a way that I could not use any other deck. There's no deck that could replace this for me, because I use this a lot. I have chronic pain and illness, and I hold pain in different places in my body. And there are times where, though I'm taking my medicines, like I'm doing my pain relief, I'm doing the stretches and all the things, the physical therapy, there are times I feel I'm still holding like pain or stiffness, tightness, whatever it may be. And I will go to the physical place in my body, I think it is, and I will pull that card. And I work through that, and I swear to you, the like chillingness I feel, like it's like it makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. It's always like dead on too. But there's also like a ton of information about how to understand this deck. So we have a ton of flora, fauna, backgrounds, environments, light and energy, working with this deck, an oracle, like what about an oracle deck, a reference manual, a journal practice, the cycle of communication. There are some really great spreads that I have actually never used. They're like, I mean, they are spreads too, like really unique spreads. And then you get to the cards and you have these two glorious pages, and you get kind of like your standout phrase from the wisdom, and that will be like kind of your little quote. So if you just want to take that and run with it, you can. But you also have properties, so the element, what it is, if it's in balance versus out of balance, associated cards, anatomy, energy. Then you have the wisdom, like this is more like the meaning. And then you have 4 journaling prompts, which blows my mind. And also, with having the associated cards, you can keep working through. I feel like I could I just could rant all day about this. I love like how beautiful the cards are, and I would so pick this deck just for the cards. When you pick the deck for the cards and then you get such a like amazing resource, this is hands down my favorite guidebook for an oracle deck. It's just so comprehensive. There's nothing I've ever found that's like this. And to find, I think the next one is, let me look. We're gonna look live here. Ashley Stinson. Okay, let's find out what's the next deck gonna be called. I know I've seen Visceral Oracle in 2024. Yep. So the second edition of Bone Codes is what the second edition is being worked on right now of this deck. I love this deck a lot. And I think that's why it had to be my choice of like the deck that I think everyone should have, because I feel so passionately about it. And every time like I think of a deck, like an oracle deck that like I think everyone should have, I think this is like, again, such a unique option. And I think there is like a wealth of knowledge that she has, and just getting like even a bite of it is so worth it. I feel like so many decks could be, I could talk about, there are also decks that are technically not tarot or oracle. So I was like, what do I do? That's why I did 2 separate tags. Is just because there were so many decks that were, if I did it just like 5-deck challenge. There were too many decks fighting and I really wanted to like offer it. And then for those who want both, you can watch both. You can do a combo video and just use both tags. I mean, there's no limits. I think there's so many decks that just do such different things for me. And I love to find decks that I don't have anything else that does this. Like, that feeling feels really good. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing these tags with me. And even if it is just like commenting below, participating, letting me know like what your favorite deck is right now, or which of these decks were you like really excited about, or how you feel about them. It's always fun to chit chat about tarot and oracle decks with you. So I love you. I will see you next week.